Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wingcat Sports. It's our weekly Red Wings breakdown. They had 3 games this week. They started the week off against a really, really good Rangers team. They ended up losing 5-3. They were down 5-0 at one point, and they started their comeback, but they just could not make it back.
No, it was awful. The score wasn't close. It was an uninspired game. They didn't even bother really, getting into it till the third, and probably the Rangers were by that time thought the game was out of reach, so they, took their foot off the gas a little. They pretty much handled us um, without much effort. I mean, the Wings looked like they weren't skating, and it was just a very poor effort on their part all around. I don't get um, why this early in the season we're having the same issue we have almost every year. It seems like motivation. Go out there, play your ass off, and let the chips fall where they may. They don't play their ass off a lot. When they do, they beat teams like Boston. Um,
Which they did earlier in the year. They gave them
right,
their first loss. I mean, they're still
right.
seven.
And
They're still doing okay. I mean, they went into they came back home and lost to Montreal in overtime, which was not good, but you at least got a point out of it. There's By that point they were 7-5-2. Montreal, you outshot Montreal. You were even with the hits. You just ended up losing in overtime. It
well,
was a
right. I
fairly
mean,
even game. Montreal's doing good this year, though. They're not playing bad.
Montreal's playing. They're actually playing above what people thought. Um, they're having a good start to the season. And yeah, the effort was better against Montreal. Montreal probably is not the New York Rangers, but they're still a pretty good team right at this point. Um, again, like I said, though, we on paper you should beat that team, and
Yep.
we have to start winning these games. We have to start um, beating the teams we should beat more consistently. And then if we're going to have a shot for the playoffs, unless we're just talking that this is another rebuilding year, which I kind of makes you want to believe. But I'd like to think that this is more. But we do have a legit shot for the playoffs.
We do. They did finish the week with a win at least. They're 5-4. They won 5-4 against a bad Columbus team. They probably should have beat them by more, but or not let up 4 goals. But Husso so far this year has been struggling to stop the puck. He is only an 890 save percentage. And Reimer has shown that he has the ability to play. He's playing very well. So we
Right.
kind of have a goaltending controversy going on.
We do. I think Huso will come around. The goaltending doesn't worry me as much as the it seems like the lack of effort that this team puts out in front of their goaltenders. They don't come day in and day out with a good effort, and that's what they need to work on. Because
Yeah,
and maybe that's a league wide problem because you got teams like Toronto who are below 500. I think right now they're not even. I don't get it.
yeah,
I watched the game the other day. It was probably better than most of the Wings games I watched. The Vancouver Toronto game, and that was
yeah,
really good. Um,
yeah.
I
Right.
just want to see effort. I want to see consistently when this team goes out on the ice, they're hitting, they're giving their all. Um, and I think they could play with anybody in this league. I don't think they're as good, as the teams like Boston and the Rangers, but they certainly can play with them.
Yeah,
Um, and that's what I'm looking for. They the next game was Columbus, and they won 5-4. But Columbus isn't a very good team. I
no,
expect them to beat that
it
team.
should be Columbus. You sit third place in the division behind Boston, who is 11-1-2, and Florida, who is 9-4-1. We're 1 point behind Florida for second place in the division. You are tied with Toronto, and Montreal's only 2 points behind you, and Tampa's 2 points behind them, and Buffalo's 3 points behind us.
Yeah, it's an
And
odd
that's something.
start.
Ottawa is the lone team in our division that's not at least 500. They're 6-7-0, which we are facing them in Europe because we have our Europe trip this week. We play Thursday and Friday. First game is against Ottawa. Uh, right now, right, goaltending controversy first, right? Huso has an 885 save percentage with 3.61 goals against average, while your backup, who has played 5 games, well, 6 games, has a 1.8 goals against average and a 933 save percentage.
I'd like to see Lyon play too. I want to see what this guy can do. If we got three goaltenders who are all capable NHL goaltenders, Edmonton's sitting over there um, without a goaltender. Maybe we can make a deal for a decent player like a Zach Hyman or something like that. Maybe that's wishing too much, but he's the kind of guy I'd like to see on this team.
Yeah.
Um, Along with everybody else. I think we have a strong team. I just don't understand why they don't show up every game because that's what I think the main problem is right now. It's just effort.
Yeah, we'll see how this Europe trip goes. They first play Ottawa. Ottawa has been struggling. Now they've been so we have a 3.67 goals per game at the moment. Ottawa has more than us with a 3.85, but the goals against has gone up for Ottawa. They have a 3.39 compared to our 3.27. Still around the same for shots per game and shots against. But their power play, our power play has gone down. We're only down to a 22% now on the power play.
Drastic drop.
We were
That's what I
doing
mean. Everyone, they sit there and they go through this very small sample size at the beginning of the year of 6 or 7 games and saying, we're a shoe in, we're awesome, we're going to do. You don't know nothing until about 25 games are in and get what kind of team you kind of got. Everyone could start off hot, and they did, and great. But we've been equally bad since that hot start.
Yep.
And we need to right the ship. We need to be consistent in our effort and everything else. And I want to see, we're playing Ottawa and Toronto, right? In
Yep.
Sweden.
Yep.
I like that. We should win both those games. I'd like to see them win both of them.
You're going to play Ottawa first on Thursday, and then you are going to go play Toronto on Friday. You got a 1 and 2 o'clock game each day. Again, we're tied with Toronto, so whatever happens in Europe will matter where we sit in the standings by the end of the week. Before we have a very tough week the week after that, we only played 2 games, but we're going to play New Jersey and Boston when we come back from Europe.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be
So we need to win those 2
easy.
games and maybe split between Boston and New Jersey. And that might be a tall order considering both of them. But New Jersey's without Jack Hughes right now. And he was the main reason we lost to him the first time. We had them. Jack Hughes took that game over, so they don't have him at this point. Are they going to have him for our game?
Probably that's 2 weeks out. So
we'll see. That's so we need these 2 wins in Sweden.
it would be good to have the 2 wins in Sweden. You at least need to get, I'm going to say, 3 points in Sweden. You're going to have to at least get to overtime in one of the games and win the other one.
Yeah,
At least 3 points.
and try to split with Boston and New Jersey. We understand those are 2 excellent teams. You got to come at them.
Yeah, because when you come back, your 3 games, because I'm going to include Sunday in it, you're going to have the Devils, the Bruins, and the Wild, who are kind of struggling a little bit this year because they're 5-7, not making this video. And the end of the month, you have the Rangers and the Blackhawks. The rest of the month isn't going to be the easiest, but it's not going to be the most difficult in the world.
We're going to be struggling. If we're above 500 come December, I think we're probably doing good.
Yeah, you're 3 games over right now, which is
and okay, I don't think it should move from there. 3 or 4. If we're 3 games above 500 come December, I think that's okay. We've done a decent job because we're playing some really tough teams coming up, and we need to win a few. We need to bring our best efforts.
Oh, you might win against Ottawa. Toronto might be a little bit more of a challenge though, but you probably could win against Ottawa in Europe. But yeah, after you need to make sure you're winning games for the rest of the month and get yourself into a good groove getting into December, because December is also not going to be a month where you can let up at all, because you're going to be facing teams that are decent. You can't every single game can be won
right
or lost depending on who you're playing. It's not like the NFL where you can win every game. You're not going to win every game. So you got to take the wins you can get. But hopefully they get through this week with at least 1 win. Hopefully they don't lose both in Europe. But with all that being said, if you'd like to see,
worst comes to worst, if they win both games in Sweden against teams they can beat, with Toronto playing the way they're playing lately, then at least when you're playing Boston, New Jersey, show up. And if you lose them, you lose them. But show up. play hard, and be in the games.
Yeah.
I don't get, like I said, that's what's driving me nuts right now because it's been this way for a long time under Blasio and under Lalonde. It's like too many games they don't show up and they just you know
Well,
fluff their way through it. But okay,
hopefully they start hitting. I mean, they've been about average with the hitting game, about like 10 to 15 hits per game, bigger hits, not the little hits. But with all that being said, if you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, share the videos. Let me know what you think in the comments. And until next time, hope to see everybody soon.